What is up, guys? Delboy here. So Lewis Ritson defeats the previously undefeated Paul Hyland Jr. by a first round stoppage. It was a destructive performance and one that is certainly going to get the boxing public talking. Lewis Ritson has now won the British lightweight title outright, and he only won that title back in October. So he's been active and he's done it in quick time, so that's really impressive. Now he's going to move on to European level. In regards to the performance, he came out like a bat out of hell, really applying pressure with his feet straight away, nice little short steps, really making Paul Hyland Jr. panic under pressure. On the front foot, Lewis Ritson's ramrod jab was a big problem. It caught Paul Hyland Jr. a couple of times and it rocked his head back, and you could tell even in the jab that this guy has a lot of power at domestic level. And the jab, I've seen a few of Lewis Ritson's fights now, and that jab on the front foot when he really steps into it is a really good punch. It's really effective. His jab on the front foot is so strong you'd have to class it as a power punch. It's really, really effective. But Ritson on the front foot was really giving Paul Hyland nightmares. Ritson then connected with a right hand over the top, kind of caught Hyland on the top of the head, and it dropped Hyland. Hyland bravely gets up. He kind of looked a bit out of it, and once he got up, he beat the count, and he done the worst thing possible. He tried to trade with Lewis Ritson, ended up getting dropped again. Again, beats the count, does well to beat the count, gets up. But yet again, like the first knockdown, once he gets up, he does the worst thing possible. He starts to trade with Lewis Ritson instead of trying to see out a round and spoil and hold. He trades and he gets dropped again. He does beat the count, but this time the referee said he had enough and he waved it off. So yeah, 1 round demolition from Lewis Ritson. Really impressive performance. Congratulations on him winning that belt outright. Now I'd like to see him go to European level and challenge for a European title, and then we see where we go from there. I'm not sure how far Lewis Ritson can go. He's got power, he's got good ability to cut off a ring, he's got a nice jab, his technique is solid, good body puncher, he's a really offensive fighter, really good on the front foot, really exciting. His style's gonna cross over well, and he's gonna get big fights because of that. Can he win a world title? That remains to be seen. He does get caught. He is open for that right hand. And we'll see how he kind of deals with bigger punchers and how he deals with more offensive fighters at European level and above. But I think there's a lot to work with. I feel he can, he's blitzed through domestic level like it was nothing. So, he's certainly ready to challenge for European honours at the very least. I'm going to be looking forward to seeing this guy progress. He can only get better. He's still relatively young. He's big for the weight. He's got a good future. Also, just a quick side note as well. Josh Kelly, he defeated Chris George to become the new Commonwealth welterweight champion. I felt this was a solid performance. I didn't think Josh Kelly looked $1 million. I felt there was a few times where, Kelly was getting caught. He was getting caught with that left hook a fair bit. Not super regularly, but enough to notice that the left hook was giving him some issues from Chris George. He was timing that left hook well at times. But basically it was Josh Kelly doing what he does. Looking for different angles, picking nice shots, keeping his man spinning, keeping his man off balance and outboxing his opponent. Josh Kelly won every single round. And Chris George pulled out I believe at the end of the 7th. I think Chris George actually hurt his hand in that fight because he stopped throwing the right hand after a certain point. But he was quite durable. He gave Josh Kelly some rounds. I think that was a solid fight for Josh Kelly at that stage of his career. I think this fight actually, he got tagged more in this fight than the Molina fight. Like I said, that left hook to the head. Also, Chris George, the left hook to the body was landing at times as well. So yeah, he's going to have to tidy that up, when he raises up through the levels. There's going to be guys who are much bigger punchers than Chris George and who are a lot bigger, who are a lot more technically astute. So, he needs to tighten up at times, but, he's got a lot of talent. He's got a lot of ability. He's got a fun style. He's just won a title at Commonwealth level in his 7th fight. I certainly think he's good enough to win British titles. I certainly think he's good enough to win European titles. But when we go above that level, that's when the questions will really be answered about Josh Kelly. I have to admit, I am not totally convinced yet. I'm not sold on Josh Kelly's punching power for a start. I mean, given his style, Josh Kelly fights like kind of like a Prince Naz, a Sergio Martinez, a Roy Jones. He's got that type of style. But I feel that, yes, Josh Kelly has really good skills when it comes to evading shots, but he does still leave holes. Sometimes he'll have lapses in concentration. And I feel those happen a little bit too regularly at this level. So he really needs to kind of iron those out before he moves above British level. The last area where I'm kind of unconvinced is how Josh Kelly would do with a really good pressure fighter. And I only bring that up because of some of the amateur fights I've seen of Josh Kelly, and I didn't think he handled pressure fighters too well. But we'll see how he deals with them in the pros. Still a lot of question marks on Josh Kelly. He's got a lot of natural ability. He's a great athlete. Good hand speed. He can create angles. He's got a really good punch variety. He's got a lot of talent to go a long, long way. But, given that style, I'm not convinced yet. I'm not convinced. I'm not saying he can't do it, but he's got a long way to go, He's got a long, long way to go. But we will see. Good little card. I enjoyed it. Lewis Ritson was the performance of the night as far as I'm concerned. What do you guys think? Peace.